Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast. It's Fanzone preview time where we take your thoughts, questions and opinions on the upcoming game to share our thoughts on your thoughts. We're talking about Wolves today on the
So Alan Barcher, John.
Was a little bit, wasn't it? John, how are you?
Yeah, we're good. How are you?
Yeah, good. We've just done a 45-minute live stream, so I am. I'm buzzed. You know, we've just done an episode, and now we're doing another. We've got 6 topics in the mailbag that we're going to discuss. Would you like to ping me one of those topics to start the show?
Yes. Opposites attract.
Opposites attract. To add to Chelsea theory, I love that this is a thing now. I have a reverse season theory.
Damn.
We are doing the opposite of what we normally do for lots of games. Beat Everton at home, lose to Newcastle away, beat Man United at home, lose away at Palace, and don't lose to Arsenal away. So we're absolutely beating Wolves on Friday. And that is from John Townley's meal deal. I'm all for it. If that's what is happening this year and we're going to do the opposites sound, can anyone work out what that means for the rest of the season?
I was going to say, so that means that we win at Old Trafford as well.
Yeah,
yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, it's going swimmingly. We would have beaten Liverpool as well, which we haven't done yet under Unai Emery. So yeah.
Etihad.
I don't think we've won there for.
We're going to get loads of points. We'll be fine.
Yeah, we are going to have to also get results in the final knockings of the season against teams who either we haven't beaten this season or teams that we just don't usually beat, full stop. So, yeah, an interesting end to the campaign. It'll be interesting to see what other teams, in terms of the fixtures, like we said before, Chelsea's fixtures is difficult, but maybe this is a podcast that we could do, getting a Liverpool, Man United and Chelsea fan in the podcast, only for a few minutes. We don't want to give them too much airtime to spout their commercial Big Six nonsense, but that's really rude. But to get their perspective on their fixtures remaining of the season, how they're feeling about it, you know, because
could do that.
I always think that listening to fans, even though they might be a bit biased sometimes, how or if they're worried about certain things, it usually comes true, to be honest.
How do you feel about this game, by the way? Are you of the Molineux, like, of course they'll be up for this is their cup final, or do you just think we'll go there and beat the team who are one of the worst the Premier League's ever seen?
No, I think it'll be a really difficult game. It's kind of my stock answer for most things. I genuinely believe this. I was looking at their recent results, Wolves, and yeah, people know they've had a upturn in form, which frankly was that involved passing the ball correctly. But at home, they have improved in different areas, I guess you'd say. So since they lost 2-0 against... Well, first, I watched their 4-1 defeat against Man United at the start of December, and they were shambolic. I think that's genuinely one of the worst defensive performances I've seen of a Premier League team. So it couldn't have been much worse than that, but actually they've improved more than I thought they would have. So then they lost 2-0 to Brentford. You know, Brentford are a decent side. But then they beat West Ham 3-0, which, although that says a lot about West Ham and where they were, Wolves, even if you are so bad, to beat a team 3-0, and it could have been more, I think, in that game as well. But they kept a clean sheet. Newcastle was their next home game. They kept a clean sheet in that game and drew 0-0. They lost to Bournemouth and they lost to Chelsea, but then, of course, they drew to Arsenal. The point I'm trying to make is that this isn't just a team that for example, when we played Sheffield United a few seasons back and we done them 5-0, I can't foresee it being like that. I think this will be I don't know if it'll be tight in terms of scoreline, but it will be a game where I'm sure there'll be moments where they're up for it and they are threatening us. And even if we go 1-0 up, it's not going to be 2-0, 3-0, and we're coasting it. I don't think it will be. I think Rob Edwards will be drilling into them. You've given very little to your fans this season. That can go a long way, though, by beating Villa.
But, if you said to me now that this is going to be a horrible game, that Villa's suffering, but you win 1-0, sound.
Yeah. No.
Don't mind at this stage of the season. Just win where you can. I think it's crucial that we don't concede first for reasons of atmosphere and just the optics of that and the vibe of it, which absolutely Wolves could happen. And if it was to happen, the players have got to then find it in themselves to go, Christ, you kind of 1-0 down to one of the worst sides in the league, or the worst side in the league this year, but one of the worst Premier League sides, kind of full stop.
Actually, yeah.
Go. You've got to go and up your game and beat this team. But don't even allow that to happen in the first place. I'd like us to start quick for a change.
I remember the game 2 seasons ago at Molineux when I think that thing exactly happened. They scored and then Powell scored it. Was it the back post or something? And in that game as well, it was something that I think people forget a little bit. But Watkins hit the post from a header in literally the last kick of the game. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
I remember thinking like, oh, Like, oh my God, we could have won it in the last. Like, that doesn't happen very often. I mean, Buendia obviously did it against Arsenal, but that would have been something, wouldn't it? Like winning at Molineux 2-1, bang, header, hit the put. Like, I remember thinking like, oh, a draw isn't bad at Molineux because we rarely win here in front of fans. But oh man, that could have been like a massive moment. Anyway, that was a while ago. Wolves have conceded the first goal in 22 different Premier League games this season, which is more than any other side. In fact, of the 40 teams to play 200 plus games in the competition, Wolves have conceded first in the highest percentage of them, which is pretty much 60%. So they have a knack of conceding the first goal. So hopefully your theory isn't going to come true.
Yeah, but a stat well delivered, John.
I hope you've edited the middle part out.
I'll put it in now.
I presume that is goals that they conceded first have been... No. Wolves have conceded first in the highest percentage of the... Hold on. What is this? What have you conceded first in the highest percentage of them? Yeah. Let me read that again, Don. Sorry.
I'm going to pick a random topic from the mailbag. Actually, not random. It doesn't have a title because it's so short. Bailey cannot start ahead of Sancho again. From Sancho's mum.
Yeah, you would say that. To be fair, so would everyone else, I think.
Yeah, he's got to start Sancho.
And I would as well, who people will probably think I'm Leon Bailey's dad. Yeah, I would start Sancho as well. It gives you that creative dynamic, and I think in this game, it would work. I'm hoping that, if anything, Bailey can be a player who comes into games and impacts them. If he's not going to do it from the start, well, he has to play a part. All the Villa players need to contribute from now to the end of the season if we're going to do what we need to do. But yeah, I would start Sancho. I don't know if we want to get into a starting 11 now, but I think Tammy and Barkley are both also, well, they have to be knocking on the door to play from the off as well.
Well, why don't you give me another topic, and rather than be random, pick one that sounds like team news.
Okay. Give opposite triple threat.
Triple threat. Hi guys, can either of you see a time where Emery plays Watkins, Rodgers and Sancho as a 3 behind Tammy? Love the podcast. Keep up the great work. From Chris Kavanagh's guide dog. A lot of people have suggested, shift Watkins out to the left wing, let him run inside anyway, and then you can have Tammy up front. I'm not sure we're ever going to see that, to be honest. As a bit into team news, I'm also going to go 3 at the back from Richard. I'm starting to think that playing 3 at the back might be the way to go against Wolves, with Tammy and Ollie up front together. Both fullbacks provide good width, and Rodgers could operate as the 10 behind the 2. It might make us more potent up front and tackle our midfield inferiority in recent weeks. So no shout specifically for Barkley in the questions I've picked. There will absolutely be fans out there that watch Barkley who think, he could come in and start.
Yeah.
I think Tammy, Barkley and Sancho being the substitutes who came on and did well, they've earned a right to start against Wolves. I think Sancho does and Tammy does. I'm not sure Barkley starts though.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but agreed, if he's on the bench, I'm not going to be like, you can't leave him out, because I actually think when Barkley comes into the game, he's more effective than when he starts it. And again, that is the thing. We spoke a lot about players finishing matches rather than starting it and how important that is. And I think Barkley, that might be his role moving forward. However, against Wolves, when we should have a large chunk of the ball, I think I'd rather have Barkley on the pitch, to be honest, to start. I would play him straight away and maybe bring Buendia into the game if we need him. Sancho and Rodgers supplying the striker, which we'll get on to.
Okay, so what kind of 11 are we looking at then?
Okay, so... Well, the 11 I would pick would be Martinez and Cash, Konsa, left back Maatsen. The left centre back's an interesting one because obviously Mings has played a lot of Premier League games recently, the last 3, I think.
There is a question about centre backs, so
okay, we'll leave that. Yeah, placeholder there. Anana and Louise in midfield, and then I would play Barkley as the 10 as such. Rodgers coming in off the left with Maatsen overlapping, and then Sancho,
like that, by the way.
And then Sancho on the right. Cheers.
Yeah, I like that as a system, I think.
Can I just add one stat to that conversation? I want to talk about Barkley, and this is something that is a bit of a bit, not want to say scary, but it's a concern. Aston Villa held nearly 67% possession against Leeds last time out. Villa won their first 3 games when having 65% possession or more under Unai Emery, but have since won just 5 of the 17 games when dominating that much of the ball, winning just 1 of the 5 games this season with 65% plus possession.
So what does that tell us?
That tells us, Dan, that when we have a lot of the ball, we don't win many games.
So is that in teams where we're facing a low block and we're struggling to break it down?
I mean, I possibly so, yeah. And I wish that would kind of go a bit more. I mean, that's from Opta, and cheers Opta. But if there was like a home and away comparison as well I don't know if most of those games are coming at home and then only some of them are away, I don't know. But that is interesting because, again, clearly when we have possession, we don't have the right quality to break teams down. And I kind of mentioned earlier about the system that we have. And I don't want to kind of go into the realms of negativity. And we mentioned in the Q&A, we can't hide that a lot of talent that is in teams who play for opposition teams, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, you got Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko comes off the bench, 70 million scores, nice. Salah, Ekitike, Wirtz, like, Jesus, like what we're competing with. Instead, with respect to Sancho, because he's improving, I think, under Emery, but he's a player that Man United don't want, and we're trying to finish above them. Harvey Elliott is a player that Liverpool don't want. Disasi was a player that Chelsea didn't want. Lindelof couldn't get a new deal at Man United. We're almost picking up, scraps is the wrong word, and that sounds terrible, but we're picking up players that other teams don't want, that we're trying to compete with. So in a way, I don't think we can be too shocked sometimes when those stats don't go for us, like having so much of the ball, but we can't quite break teams down, or winning, like I mentioned earlier, by the odd goal. It's proven that it is sustainable, but equally, I suppose, who are we to think that we're just going to blow teams away 3-0, 4-0, just because we have a good manager? We have some good players who have improved a lot under Emery, but at the same time, I think we have a few players who have worth over £50 million, but not all of them. And I think some areas of the forward line, you do see that.
Which, if we had that firepower, by the way, of course we're going to finish top four, no worries. We'd actually be in the title race if we had
properly.
Like properly in it, and didn't have the injuries and whatnot. It's bizarre because I don't think anyone really feels like Villa have played well pretty much all season. And I know that's a bit of a generalisation, but we're not really a million miles away from Arsenal now, given what we've dealt with. So if Tielemans, McGinn and Kamara were still fit and available, and you had just a little bit more quality, you genuinely would be in it. And maybe that says more about the rest of the league than anything, because that squad shouldn't be winning the league, I don't think. It's only because Emery's made them better than they are, or made them a better sum of the parts, whatever the phrase is. Butchered that. But you know what I mean?
Tactics in there.
Should we do the centre-back thing?
The proof is in the paella.
The proof is in the paella. From Paul's Paella. In the league this season, Villa have 2 wins when Konsa and Mings play, 4 wins when Konsa and Lindelof play, and 9 wins for Konsa and Torres. Including the games where Mings and Torres started, Villa's goal difference is -1 when Mings starts. -1 when Mings starts versus +8 when Torres starts. At this point, starting Lindelof over Mings, at least on paper, would make more sense. Curious to hear your thoughts.
Good stats.
But the Lindelof thing's a wild kind of thing thrown in out of nowhere there. That's not where I was expecting that to go.
You wanted Lindelof, didn't you, to start a few weeks ago? I remember you saying, would Lindelof go?
That was.
Yeah. I mean, Lindelof's done very well. Mings, it's difficult.
But I thought that was setting up to being, well, surely Konsa powers the partnership. And then it's like, no, Lindelof.
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, I can't see that when you have 2 left-sided centre-backs, and Lindelof, although he's done very well on the left side. No, not for me. I think that is certainly a play that we can just, I don't know, is it sort of discrediting what he's done so far for me to just say he's the backup to Konsa and that he shouldn't be in line to start with him? I don't know. But at the same time, if it was me, I can't lie, I would go towards Mings or Torres. But just on Mings, it's interesting because you read stats out like that this season. Obviously, they're valid, absolutely. But then last season, I don't think we lost a game with Mings in the league. And that was a pretty big sample size in the end, I think. I'm sure it stretched over about 14 games or so. So it's interesting how things can change. But equally, if we're going to bring up stats for this season, I think last season is also relevant too. I would start Torres against Molineux, against Wolves at Molineux. Surely we will have a large percentage of the ball. And the stat that I read out there about the possession numbers, I don't know exactly, again, how many games that is with or without Torres. The most basic facts are that Torres is one of the better ball-playing centre-halves in the division and can spot those incisive passes when we need them. However, Mings, in his physicality, will be also useful against set pieces, and against Tolu, their tall physical striker as well. So there's reasons to bring in both, but although we have to, respect Wolves and we're going away from home, it's a game we need to win and we need to be on the front foot for. So I would start Power.
Yeah, I'd like to see Power in there as well for the reasons you said. And I also think if we kind of build out the rest of the team that we said before, again, this is only kind of fictional in my head, but if Power, I can vision him, stood 40 yards from Wolves' goal, playing up how we saw against Brentford at home, was it, when we're just trying to break it down and trying to be a bit more controlling, but also in moments where it is on the edge of our own area, maybe it's a long ball or into midfield. I feel like going into Barkley or going into Tammy or Rodgers off the left feels like that's going to have a greater chance of success than Buendia, who's not going to win balls, and Watkins, who hasn't been winning balls this season, as we spoke about on the Claret and Brew at the start of the week. That feels like a team that might have better results. I don't know whether there's anything in that or not, because I'm obviously just completely trying to predict the future.
It's interesting that Emery's going Mings regularly in the last few weeks, apart from the FA Cup game. But I do think Villa played really well in that first half against... I said really well. They played well in the first half against Newcastle until Bizot went on an expedition. So, yeah.
Okay, there's one more in the mailbag. I'll do it because it's not a random choice from you. Give the opposition their flowers. While Villa could definitely play better, even without three of their best players, the discourse after a match is always about Villa playing poorly. What seems to have happened recently is that teams have found a way to play against Villa. Emery will find a way through, but right now it's tough. Should we not be giving a bit more credit to the teams we're playing? That's from Barv. Yeah, there is a bit of that we often don't recognise as the fan of the club that we're talking about. That it's what Villa did wrong and what Villa did and what Villa did. A lot of the things that we talk about is absolutely relevant to Wolves and Leeds and Newcastle and Brentford. Like they play the game as well, right? They're a part of it. It takes two to tango. So, it's just one of those things that if we play poorly on Friday and don't win, obviously the discussion will be about what Villa did. Obviously,
if you go on a post match and say, you know what,
Wolves did well.
Wolves.
Yeah, I know.
I get the question there. I get it.
Part of what that is obviously they will have defended well, or they've won more duels than us, or whatever it might be. That there is part of the opposition, but obviously Villa is football is very I don't know what the word is, but you only care about your side of it, right?
Absolutely, I get the question, but I guess it's if Villa don't get in the Champions League or if Villa don't win one of the next four or something, no one can say, but we played against some teams who played well on the day. There's a loser mentality and then there's that. So I understand the question. We look at Leeds and as we said, they're playing better now. Like, fair play, they come to Villa Park and put in a good performance. But if Villa play to their best level, they beat Leeds. If Villa play to their best level against Everton, they beat Everton. If Villa play to their best level, and so on and so on. We are better teams than those sides because we are higher in the table. Over the course of 3 or 4 years, we are the fourth best team in the league, comfortably as well now. So while there's expectation on us and we have to prove that on the pitch that we are good enough, that's kind of the point, So you give credits to the opposition. I think you have to do that with every any time that you play them, but you do that before the match. Like, you understand what they're going to do and how they're going to try and stop you. Nothing should be a shock or a surprise that afterwards you say, "Oh, you know what? Like, Jacobi or whatever, he wins a lot of headers, doesn't he?" It's we should be prepared and aware of these things, as Leeds will be. And this is why you do your pre-match prep. Nothing should be a surprise on the pitch. So if you come out of it thinking, you know what, they were better than what we thought or whatever, that means that you didn't play well enough. So doing what Villa need to do this season is completely in their hands still. And I think it will be, even for another few weeks, because other teams will drop points. And so will we. But I just do think that we have destiny in our own hands still, and that's up to us. And if we play well in the games that we've got coming up, we'll get enough points to achieve our goal, no doubt.
That's just the bit everyone's worried about. Will we play well enough?
Well, yeah. Well, that's beauty of football, or hopefully the beauty of football, that we can find out that we do play well. But again, if football was played on paper, then it's it would be a
spectacle. Yeah. To wrap up, then. What's your prediction?
You know what? I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. You're not?
Not particularly, no.
I don't know. I
think it'll be a terrible watch.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I couldn't care less as long as we win. And I think we will.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I've never seen us win. I don't think anyone has seen us win at Molineux for over 10 years now, unless you're Ashley Priest. Matt Mayer or Greg Evans.
A couple of stewards.
Yeah, a few stewards. What a privilege, by the way. But, no, I am looking forward to it. Yeah, Friday night game. You kind of, if we win, weekend to look forward to. If we don't, life ruined, etc. But it's I just feel like it's a good opportunity for us to get back to winning ways. And I'd love to kick my feet up on Sunday. I'm working, but I'll still do it because it's partially part of work to see Chelsea hopefully lose at Arsenal then. And then you're building up to a massive football match between Chelsea and Villa. Hopefully those things happen this weekend and on Friday night. And for that reason, I get excited about it. Whereas if this was a game, I don't know, away to Liverpool and Chelsea had a winnable match and they won it, what a rubbish weekend that is, But this feels like an opportunity, and I hope that we grasp it.
Yeah, same. We'll wrap up the Wolves fan zone there. John, thanks for your time as always. I'm frazzled doing episodes back to back, so hopefully people have got enjoyment out of at least one of them. I have anyway. I've had a fun time. Right, we'll be back next for the post-match show, which will be a Friday night live stream where Kendrick will be joining us for a rare away game, so that'll be good fun. This episode comes out Thursday morning. The presser is Thursday afternoon, so as we have done the last couple of weeks, if anything comes up from the presser or any cheeky embargo lines, then who knows, maybe we'll be back with another episode on Thursday night. But if not, post-match show Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay, John, thanks for your time. Thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.